So I'm delighted to be talking all things 2021 with Gvllow. Mate, firstly, it's great to be talking to you for the first time. In 2020, it felt like on your record, Last Dance was a song that was very different to the rest of the record, but felt like a bit of a creative breakthrough for you if the next single is anything to go by. Is that fair to say? Was Last Dance a real moment of inspiration for you that was different to where you'd been musically and culturally?
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a breakthrough. I mean, I've been making music for a very, very long time, and that sound from Last Dance, that kind of surfy gothic sound, it's something I started messing with more back in like 2017,
Right,
2018. Um, but I mean, only like the OG fans would really know about that one. It's like I
of
had an album
course.
called Waste Away many years ago, and that was like my first start with that. But and then I dabbled in some rap stuff again, and I kind of made my way back around with the surfy goth stuff, and I just have a lot of fun making that kind of music. And yeah, Last Dance, it was just one of those songs. It just kind of happened.
Do you find those two things quite palatable? Because the goth side of things and that surf rock style guitar, I'm glad you picked up on that, and the Sisters of Mercy style vocals, and there's a lot going on that sort of thing. But with the hard rap shit being a very different vibe when you listen to it. Like, it gives you a different feeling as a listener. Is that something that you're going to continue to meld, or do you feel things going in a different direction in 2021?
It's so hard to say. I really just go off of whatever feels right. I don't ever intentionally set out to just like I'm gonna make this genre today. It's more of what I've been feeling. But I mean, I could definitely tell you in the next few months to come. Um, Basically, all of my songs are more in that genre category. Rap is something that came like secondary. It's not really the primary genre that I set out to make. I come from the punk rock scene in Southern California. That's like kind of where my roots are, and so I feel like I'll always be true to that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there will come a time where I'll be inspired to make some like rap stuff here and there. But yeah, I have a lot of great like goth bangers on the way.
I watched you DJ for Spin on Twitch, and the main reason I tuned in was because when I could hear everything that I could hear on your record, I was intrigued to know what that mind would put in a DJ set. And so when I was hearing like really lo-fi sound and really making it gnarly and dirty and aggressive, is that the constant in your music? While you might pull from various different genres, having an edge and having some grit in your music and not making things overly polished. Even when there's a certain elegance with it, I was just describing your music as still having dirt under its fingernails. Is that the constants in your music, and where does that come from?
Yeah, I like that. That's a good description on that. Yeah, like I said, it really just comes from my roots in the punk rock background, and as I'm sure as you know, punk rock is not meant to be clean and polished. It's a big middle finger to everything, and it's something that's just embedded in what I do, and even just in normal daily life. So yeah, I would definitely say so.
And what's your take on? I guess we should talk a little bit about like the suspicions that people have when they come from rap, right? Like, so I've been pushing the likes of Ghost Main and what, like, the reason I fucking heard of City Morgue was when you were playing Turnstile and Slipknot songs on tour on stage. I
Yeah,
was like, I see that.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
feel like you're treated with suspicion by the black clad masses from our culture?
Uh, I mean, I guess. I mean, in what way would you, in as far as suspicion?
So when I put people on this show and it goes out on Knotfest and things like that, we get quite a visceral reaction to things that are from that world. Like, it makes sense sonically. That's why I'll always push it. Like, if you go to the fucking shows or you see people go off, it
Yeah.
feels completely familiar. But when we post it, there's such a like attitude still towards it. That's something that I feel? Is that something that you feel, or am I off the pulse there?
No, I mean it's fair. I mean, a lot of people might not even know who I am. They might not know my background. So to a common person, they could just see is who the fuck is this guy just trying to be some edgy like rapper when really it's just more of I'm just a guy that comes from punk rock that just likes rap once in a while. And
Gotcha.
yeah, you know what I mean. Rap was is definitely not like my primary like thing I was brought up on. That was something that came way later. Actually, like when I was younger, rap music was like if you liked rap music in the punk scene, you know, it didn't really work. Nobody really gave a shit.
Yeah.
But I think you know, I think that's what drew me to it also because also I don't like being told like what is cool and uncool. You know,
Fuck
it's
yeah.
for yourself. So yeah, I could definitely see the suspicion in that. But I mean, again, it's all appreciated because in my eyes, it's really just people figuring me out.
Is it bullshit that we're still here in 2020 though? Like, if it's aggressive and it makes you move in the same way that Slipknot or a fucking like whoever your favorite band is, like if it moves you in the same way, what is that fucking disconnect? Because I can't put my finger on it. Like if it's hard and it fucking gives me that same primal I want to break a window when I hear it
Yeah,
feeling, like it all fits culturally.
yeah. I mean, for me, I agree. It's like if it sounds great and it makes you feel great, then why not? Who the fuck has any say on what you should like think feels good to you? Um, it it's more of I think people are just insecure with themselves and maybe they feel like they just want to fit into something and they have to put a label on things and have an identity when really it none of that shit matters. It nobody's fucking identity matters. It's all about great music and what makes you feel good. I mean, I'm sure you could relate to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean
Absolutely.
that's
What
more
that whole train of thought appeals to me. Like, if you can take influences from all of these different places to make something unique in this sphere that gives you the same feeling, like, what's the fucking problem? Is that? Do you feel like that's a dying attitude as well?
yeah, absolutely. Um, I don't know, man. Like it's music has definitely changed so much. I mean, punk rock is really not the same as it used to be, at least when I from where I grew up. Um, I mean, I come from the age of like cell phones not even being involved in any concerts at all. Like, I mean, there's a lot of videos on YouTube of like punk rock shows I used to go to. There was this venue called the Showcase Theater in Corona, California, and I used to go there almost every weekend. And sometimes I'll reminisce on videos like of like shows I used to go to, and you could see me in some of the videos, and I always like go back to like wow like it's crazy to think the time that we're in now because looking at those videos like there's not a single cell phone out there and during that time I couldn't imagine ever pulling a phone out and like being disconnected. It's like things have become different. People want to have an identity, they want to have a name, they want to feel important to where I don't know like it's just I think it's just a generational thing.
What, like, I need to ask you about what punk was like where you grew up because it's like from your what you were saying like before cell phones, like regionally these shows didn't used to feel as interchangeable, right? Like I read NoFX's the Hepatitis Bathtub book and listening to them growing up in LA in the height of punk rock violence in the 80s, it blew my mind to hear just like through my experiences of going to hardcore shows and things like that. Like, yeah, scuffles might break out, but this was like stabbings and all kinds of shit on the reg. What was
Yeah.
punk like in your area?
It's fucking violent. It was good violence though, because
Cathartic.
everybody was cool. For me, I was 12, 13, and I was a little guy when I was like that age. I was really short. Like I didn't get tall until like high school. So when I would go to those shows, I was like the little kid, and the bouncers at the venue recognized me a lot from the punk shows, and so at one point the bouncers would let me hang out on the stage, like side stage, and like watch the shows from there, and I broke my elbow watching Agent Orange when I was like 13, 14, because
Amazing.
the bouncer would encourage me. He'd be like, "You can hang out on the stage, but you got to go do a front flip into the crowd right now." And he was like, "Don't worry." I'd land in the crowd, and then he'd take his flashlight and clear a path for me and pull me back up on the stage. I was like the little kid of like everybody was older than me. But yeah, I remember it all. People doing heroin under the fucking stairs in there. People getting into fights. People getting jumped in the bathroom by security. Fucking beating up skinheads. Like that was real
Wild.
things. That was a real thing. I mean, like I said, I was a small kid. I wasn't beating up grown men, but like I watched it. I was a part of it. I was exposed to that lifestyle, and I'm grateful for it every day because it really shaped me into I feel like who I am now. It's made me really appreciate just everything in general with music, as far as like touring with City Morgue. You know, you play these really big fancy shows that are packed out, sold out, and it really takes me back to like, wow, there was a point in time where I was sleeping on someone's floor, and we were playing a backyard show out in Ohio for like 12 people, just no money in it, literally just because we just got such a rush from watching people beat each other up to our music. And it was just, yeah, it's that's kind of like where I'm at with that. That's where I come from. I'm just 100% punk rock in my blood, and I'm grateful for all my life experiences with what it's given me, and it's really given me an open mind to like music nowadays too, because I know part of me like doesn't agree with like how maybe punk and like just music in general has changed people's perception on how they want to like hold themselves, you know.
Mm.
But I mean, it's again, I'm an open-minded person, so it's just one of those things, man.
Is that the swing to where underground culture is today? Because the appeal to things, like as well as the sound and the bands and the music, are the thing that gets you there in the first place. What I've noticed about Los Angeles since moving here is the scene feels very goth. Like what that I mean, the place to be. All of the best places I've been and times where I've come out of a club experience or whatever is from that. And when you look at LA and you look at Health and Three Teeth and some of the stuff that's prayers to a certain extent as well, Youth Code, things that have come out that feels very palatable to that scene. It feels like it's everything that you were getting from punk rock then is kind of where your music is now. Is that just my experience of moving here, or is there some validity to that?
No, that's definitely a valid. Yeah.
So, what is the primary difference between those two things? Because the similarity is it's the dangerous place to be within the music scene. Feels like this goth thing, and it doesn't feel the same way in terms of violence at all. That's not the vibe. It's more dark aesthetic. Like, what you tell me about it? Like, what are the
Yeah.
differences between those two
Yeah.
things? Because they're both edgy in different ways.
They are definitely. I mean, for me personally, I'm just getting old. So I mean, like I'm 27 now, and I don't. A lot of people don't even know how old I am, so that would be funny. But like, yeah, I'm 27, man, and I feel like I'm 40 sometimes. Like, I definitely have no interest in going in a circle pit anymore like I used to, and but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy watching it still and supporting the younger kids beating each
Mm.
other's skulls in. I live for that shit.
Yeah.
But uh, I feel like for me personally, like the gothic side of things, it really had to do a lot with my background. Because like I've said a million times now, like the punk rock scene was when I was younger, but then when I started getting to my mid 20s, I had a very very best friend of mine pass away from suicide, and that really shifted me from being like just like aggressive and more like it put me in a depression. And gothic music doesn't you don't see people circle pitting and punching each other at a gothic show. It's you're more in your feelings. And
Mm.
I mean, I can't speak for other bands that are in that same genre, but just me personally speaking, it's it helps me with venting with my like depression with dealing with my friend's death, because that was really hard on me, because he played in a lot of bands with me. I grew up playing drums. I drummed for a long time, and
All right.
yeah, I drummed in a lot of punk bands, and he was always playing guitar, bass, and like doing the vocals. And he was also my tattoo artist. Like he did all these like visible tattoos on me, and so I feel like as I gotten into my later 20s after he passed away, you know, uh, the dark part of it was really just me coping, because it's either I'm gonna just hang myself or I'm gonna get out my emotions and put it into a song and get all of it out. And I guess it translates to being dark. And also, I'm just a huge horror movie fan too, so maybe that has something to do with it as well. You know, but like it's funny because a lot of my friends in my hometown, like we always joke about it. It's like my music is so serious and very dark because they know my background, but in real life, like I'm not serious at all. I'm the most joking person. It's very hard to have a serious conversation. I'd fuck around like 90% of the time, but as soon as I get into my studio and start recording, it's like all those like dark emotions come out. And like it's really just me getting it out. And on top of that, when he passed away, his parents gave me a lot of his belongings, including like his microphones, his lyric books, and all of his like important stuff that pertained to his music that we did together. So a lot of the songs I write um, include his lyrics. Like "Last Dance," for instance, um, that those lyrics were written about me speaking to him, because the lyrics are you here with me? Are you here with me? And then the other part is, I woke up on the forest floor, naked and covered in blood. I thought to myself, my God, what have I done? Those were his lyrics. So I'm saying, are you here with me? And it's like I'm reading his lyrics back to me as if I'm like speaking with him to his spirit in my song. So
It was that. I mean, it feels like it was seismic for you and the people around you. That passing. Um, was this catharsis for that?
yeah, yeah. I mean, really, it's just I just try to keep his spirit alive in my music, because Gvllow wasn't a thing until after he died. Because once he died, it was like, well, now what am I gonna do? That was my best friend, and like I don't have a friend to play in a band with. I'm not gonna go and start a new band with some fucking random person I don't know like that I don't connect with like that. Like I'm just gonna do my own thing, and that's where it started. I started getting in trouble, and I like went broke. I was like almost homeless, and I started finding music, and I found that writing songs through his lyrics and kind of throwing my lyrics in on with it, it started making me feel better. I stopped I stopped being such a crazy person, like doing stupid shit that can get me locked up, and I started focusing and making money again, and you know, it was really was a turning point, and it sucks to say it, but you know, with his death, it really did define my future and shape a lot. Like I feel like I wouldn't be where I am right now if that didn't happen. Like I don't know where I would be. I probably wouldn't be Gvllow if he was still here. You know.
Was it important to have that public acknowledgement of when you put that the lyrics into your songs? It's an almost physical representation of that person's influence inside your work, as opposed to when you've worked closely with someone. I'm sure that that bond never lessens, no matter where people go. Um, but
Yeah,
to physically put it in there.
when he when he died, the first thing I thought was like, wow, he was such an amazing songwriter and musician, and the whole like not enough people got to hear it. The first thing that came to mind was I'm gonna make music on my own. I'm gonna get famous and show the whole world his music, so he can get the recognition he deserved.
Fuck
So
yes.
so when when I did a song with Jack Grisham from TSOL, that's like one of my favorite punk bands of all time,
Yeah.
and it was an honor to work with him, and I'm very grateful to consider him to be a friend. The first thing I did was sample my friend, and his name is Zach. Uh, I sampled Zach's lyrics or his vocals from an old song we did. I put it in the intro of that song I did with Jack Grisham, just so I could say Zach got to do a song with me and Jack Grisham, and
That's fucking amazing.
on top of that, Jack, those lyrics, the song's called Centipede, and it was on the self-titled album. Those lyrics were like half written from me and half written from Zach. And when Jack writes everything on the spot, so I brought my microphone and everything to his house and recorded him in his living room, and he was like, okay, he was like, so what are you saying right here? What's your lyrics? And I read in the lyrics, and those are Zach's lyrics, and he read them back to me, and he kind of reiterated what I said and recorded his vocals, and it just blew my mind. It's like, man, if Zach were here to see this right now, like Jack Grisham's like singing his lyrics, like, and on top of that, his vocals are like in the song with us too. So yeah, man, it's like when I set out to do this stuff, it's like I really just wanted people to hear my friend, because like I was just so devastated over his death. It's like, fuck that. Like he's not gonna die like nobody knowing him. Like the whole world needs to hear him, because that's what he wanted. He wanted people to hear his shit. He was a very very loud, um, vibrant person. So yeah, man, uh, it's really like I try to make it public with all my fans. If you go on my Instagram, you'll just see RIP Zach on my page. Like I want everybody to know about that motherfucker.
I love
And
that, man.
and I mean, and obviously, like I love music, and like I'm making the music for me too. Like not every single song has its lyrics, but as far as like these dark gothic songs with, where I'm speaking about death and heartbreak and all the hard mental like warfare that I would go through to cope with it, it really comes from that place. And not so much with the rap. And that's why I feel like I don't make as much rap music, because rap is like something fun for me to do
Yeah.
once in a while. But like I find that most of the songs like Last Dance and Fell in Love with the Ghost and my album Waste Away, I just feel this weird connection, this emotional connection, to where like my lyrics just flow naturally with those songs.
Mm.
So yeah, I know, like, and I guess that kind of goes back to what you're asking about, like the future of like the direction I'm going with music.
Yeah.
As far right now, yeah, I'm still going in that direction, because I just really enjoy making those kinds of songs. And they're
And
fun to do.
yeah, like it's fucking there's literally nothing exactly like it. There are variations on that sound, but what you do is very unique. And you mentioned working with Grisham, who is kind of known for being a bit of a lunatic. So it's nice to hear a story that's a bit more like he's on the same planet as the rest of us.
Yes.
A lot of the column inches have been dedicated to your relationship with Travis Barker, though.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that. How pivotal a part is he playing in getting your name out there and recognition and all that kind of thing? Because your record had been out for fucking ages before I heard it. And I like to think I'm someone with my ear to the ground on this kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, like, how did that relationship come about, and what is that relationship?
Well, you know, it's funny. I mean, obviously Travis is a very impressive guy. You know, someone does a song with him, people are gonna know about it, and it's a, you know, it's a popular thing. But for me, I really did not give a fuck about people like knowing about it or like trying to make it blow up and like make this like a famous song. For me, it was more of, like I said, I'm a drummer first. I started drumming
Yeah.
before, and I'm from Riverside, California, born and raised. And Travis Barker is from Fontana, California, which is about 20 minutes away from Riverside. And being being a 9-year-old kid in Riverside, California, in the year 2000, Blink 182 coming out with
Yeah, mate.
the state, and you see this tattooed guy just ripping it on the drums, and then you find out he's from your area, you know, and you're an impressionable young kid. Like, you want to know everything about that guy. That guy was like my idol as a kid. And I was all about Famous Stars and Straps, his clothing brand, when they came
Yeah.
out, which I actually got to model their recent clothing line they just put out.
No shit.
Yeah,
Amazing.
that was an honor. Um, so, I mean, that's just the background. I mean, my first concert I ever went to before punk rock was Blink 182 and No Doubt in San Diego.
You've had
And
worse nights out.
yeah, yeah. And so basically, you know, obviously I've been a lifelong fan of Travis. My manager is good friends with him too, and they grew up together in the same area. And fuck, my laptop might die. Hold on, give me 1 second.
No worries. No worries. I'm still jealous and trying to piece together Blink 182 and No Doubt on the same
Yeah.
night.
No,
That is a decent night out.
and so I met Travis once when I was on my 18th birthday. Um, my manager, you know, he's known me since I was young, so he wasn't always managing me. He was just like my friend. And so when I was younger, on my 18th birthday, I guess my parents surprised me by getting a hold of my manager, and he got a hold of Travis's people, and he was doing an autograph signing for his new CD, Give a Drummer Some, and they like got me in the door before they started the autograph signing to like meet him.
Yeah.
And you know, I was 18, never met him in my life, and I was like starstruck. And I had him sign my arm, and I went and got his signature tattoo, and that was my first tattoo I ever
Holy
got.
shit.
I actually got it right here too. It was like that one right there.
Fuck yeah.
This is Travis, 2011, right? So I'm 18 years old, and then I went and watched the show. And after that, you know, years go by. I DJ with City Morgue. City Morgue posts me on their page, and Travis liked it and followed my page. And you know, my manager is like, "Hey, this is my homie. Like, you know, he fucks with you." And yeah, it really happened organically. It wasn't like some like industry shit. It was really just like no different than getting along with a cool guy. Like, I was just we like the same music. You know, we messaged each other all the time on Instagram. We really were going back and forth just on punk bands we like, and you know, it's just, you know, Instagram stuff. Just shoot all the time, and really just built a friendship out of it. And then you know, one day I was working on that album, and I had this song, and I was like, fuck, I need like real drums on this, not electronic drums. And I'm like, I wonder if Travis would be down, you know, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's really how it came about, you know. Like, Travis is just the most down to earth guy, and again, it's another person that I'm honored to consider a friend. You know, he's been nothing but a genuine dude to me, and Yeah, that's pretty much how that happened. It was very just natural, and it's funny. I wanted to give you like a backstory on that before I just jumped into that because it was,
Yeah.
I'm like a lifelong fan of this guy when I'm a little kid. Then I meet him when I'm 18, and then years later, we like kind of meet again, and like now we're homies, and then. At one point, because the guy meets people all the time, and I don't expect him to remember every single fan he's ever met.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I don't know, by the way, I don't know if you remember me, but I also got your signature tattooed on my arm like years ago, like when I was 18. He was like, holy shit, that's fucking crazy, man. That's so cool.
Can,
So,
can I ask what he's like creatively? Because I've got friends, right, on
yeah.
the real, I've got friends that came out here and were demoing a record with John Feldman, right? And he turned up and had
John
never heard the music before.
John
And
plays Goldfinger, right?
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Where he produces loads of bands and he does shit with him all the time.
Yeah, I see
Um,
it all the
so
time.
so Travis fucking turns up, has never heard these songs before, and just shreds all over their songs and leaves. Like my mate was like. He's like, I don't have any reverence for Blink 182, but that guy is a fucking magician.
He,
Um,
that is no exaggeration when I say this. He really is a fucking magician because, like, I've read his book that he put out years ago. I've read it like 100 times.
yeah.
I love reading it, especially when I go on tour because he talks a lot about his hometown, so it makes me feel like I'm back at home. And uh, you know, the guy got his gig with Blink 182 because their old drummer like couldn't make the show, and he learned all their songs in like 20 minutes before they had to go on stage. And I don't know how the guy does it. I've never witnessed it in person. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe it's the song a million times if he just feels it. But, there's a reason he is who he is. He's good at what he does, and not everybody can do that. It's fucking crazy. And, um, yeah, he's probably like the coolest guy I know. Honestly.
Can I ask what's it like trying to get that guy to play a disciplined 4/4 beat? Right, your music has a somewhat minimalist feel to it from a rhythmic standpoint, and that guy is like fucking Zumba Central.
Yeah.
So
Well, man, he has impeccable timing.
yeah,
Like, like he obviously works with the metronome all the time when he's doing warm ups. Like I actually met up with him out in Houston, Texas. City Morgue was on tour with Suicide Boys, and Blink 182 was doing a show in Houston at the same time as us. And so we did our set earlier in the day, and then I went and jammed over to their show, and I met up with Travis in his green room, and I was watching him practice on his practice kit. Yeah, and he's got a metronome playing the whole time, and he's drumming to like his like music,
yeah.
and the guy is like having conversation, just like talking to people while he's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude?" Like, you know,
Wild, wild.
yeah. Like I said, dude, Travis is like the coolest fucking guy I know, obviously.
And so let's talk a little bit about 2021 before I let you go, man. So
Yeah.
EP is out in March. With you being such a feeling and emotion based songwriter, right? You will go where your emotion directs you.
Yeah.
How excited about the future are you with this being an EP for where we go? Or like, are you going to release full lengths? Like, what is 2021 going to look like for you, Gallo?
Well, I can tell you this, man. In March of 2021, I will be putting out the EP Spirit Walker, and it's got 5 tracks. They're all very, very fucking gothic. And um, as far as the future goes, with coronavirus, I mean, all I'm gonna do is just keep putting out more music and music videos, and they're just gonna get better and better. And that's pretty much it for now until it's time to do shows again. But I will say this: the second that we were able to do shows again, you better believe I'm on the road. So
Yeah, don't go on the road too quickly because I want you to play a show right here in California before you sod off on the road.
oh, of course, man. California's #1, and it'll be the last on the tour too.
Damn straight. I can't wait to see your music live. Thank you so much for delivering a sound that is unique to our scene and something that is club worthy and something that is fresh. It's exciting to hear it. We look forward to hearing more from you in 2021, Gvllow. Thanks for your time, mate.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. Have a good one. Good talking to you, man.
All the best, man. Cheers.
All right, later.